Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. So this video is the follow-up of the previous video that I did demonstrating pywce. So this is a template-driven WhatsApp chatbot library that I created in Python. So it enables you to create WhatsApp chatbots easily by means of a template-driven approach. So today I'm going to demonstrate a very basic chatbot. So this chatbot is a very basic booking chatbot. What it does, you can just go through the flow here that I did. I just mapped the basic flow. So what it does, it will go through here. So assume with the user there, which is the WhatsApp client, we have the WhatsApp gateway, which is the WhatsApp server, and then we have a chatbot. So as you can see from the flow, we see the user messages and interaction that we are going to do, and then what the chatbot is going to do. So as you can see here, it's a very basic one. We ask user for their full name, and then after that, we ask them for their birth year, going through like that. So if the user says hi, we show them hello, what's your full name? They respond, we say thank you, please enter your birth year. If they respond, we go on to the next, say now please provide your national ID. So there are just like 4 or 5 fields that you're going to at the user. At the end, we are going to show them a summary of the information that they've given us. So this is the basic stage, basic chatbot where it's more like a USSD kind of approach. We ask a user each and every message. So we are going to demo different ways one can do in WhatsApp. So now let's talk in terms of the pywce context. So here you see from the pywce board we have stages, what we call stages or steps. These are the conversation flow, the template-driven approach. So we have 0, the start stage, which asks the user for the full name. Then we have 1, the ask name, which asks user for their name. We have the ask birth year stage or step, which asks the user for their birth year. Then we have the ask the national ID, which asks user for their national ID, and we have another stage, which is another stage is another message, is a message. So here I will just name them as ask time, ask national ID, ask name, so that it's descriptive up to the last stage where we show the confirmation of stage 7. So those are the stage of the steps in terms of pywce context. So that's how your template, the conversation flow will be derived from these steps or stages. We call them stages or steps. We interchange them. Then on the user part here on the left, the input that the user will provide are the ones that are called props. So here the name is a prop. The birth here we are going to store it is another prop. The national ID that the user is going to input is another prop. The selection, the time slot, another prop. So think of it like any user input is a prop that you want to track or to store so that you will retrieve later. That's what you're calling prop here. So that's it. I think we'll then go to see how all this thing is interpreted in pywce context. So these, like I said, these are the stages or the steps that you are going to define. We are going to use YAML interchangeably with also JSON, but most cases it's YAML. So all these messages are what these pages are going to render or to show to the user. So we'll see how all these things are connected and how they are connected in the context of the library. So this is it. The basic, a very basic chatbot. It just shows you how you can scaffold an easy chatbot without even touching the Python code. For now, we're just going to showcase the template-driven approach. So we're going to put in a new project folder called booking stage. As you can see, we did e-hailing. For those that have seen the previous video, I'll link it in the description. So we are going to start by creating the same folder so that you follow through from our previous video. Go create the templates where we store our templates, the triggers where we store our trigger file, and the hook where we put our business logic. But in this case, we're not going to touch any Python code. We're just going to look into the template driven to see what are the functionalities that the library will do for you out of the box. So if we take a look at how the e-hailing works, we get a start. We're going to reuse some of these functionality was the same. When you greet trigger conversation, the user will say hi, and for reports, just reports. So we are going to copy some of this logic and paste it into the booking stage based folder that we created for this demonstration that we're going to do. So as usual, we have our start menu. So maybe to make it different from the e-hailing, I'm going to change the stages or the steps name so that I make them lowercase, and so that I follow the convention that we had on our overall architecture, on our overall process flow for our chatbot. So this is our start menu that we have. So I just lowercase it so that at least it appears different from the e-hailing. And for report, I'm also going to lowercase it also. But much of the triggers, much of the reject, they are going to be the same for this one. So we're going to delete some of these comments. When I'm by now, you are aware, you know what this file does. So this is it. I think for triggers file, we will be good to go. So apart from that, we need to look into we'll be giving reference to our process flow as we go. So let's look at how the e-hailing had the init YAML file. We had the start menu. That's how it worked, and it also had a button which had the template. So I'm going to copy some of this thing, and then we just edit for what we really need. So from here, you can see even the report. That's something that we might just copy over to our booking stage chatbot. So I'm going to copy this the starting, and then we'll edit it later to suit what we need. So I'm going to go here. Now we're done with the e-hailing. We've copied what we've wanted. Now go back to our chatbot. So I'm just going to create a file, a YAML file. I'm going to use YAML. Just name it start. You can name it anything you want. Start. You need greetings menu.yaml or .json if you're following along. So you're going to name it start the way we've named it in the same we've named it in the triggers. So if we give reference here, we can see that the user will say hi, and then the report on that stage need to respond with hello. What's your full name, please? So we are just going to follow what this process has been given. Take it like a user requirements or user flow that they want. So we're going to follow exactly that. So here, we're going to put a text. We're going to remove all the other stuff that we do not need here that we copy and paste it. And then for a text message, all you need is for a text template, all you need is a message. So we're going to say, hello, what's your name, please? And we're just going to verify if it is the correct message that is needed for the user. So here for the routes, we're also going to change it. Remember, the name can be anything. So all we need, we want to use regex. Say, okay, any character, one or more characters is going to be enough. This is just for demo. Maybe you'd want at least 3 characters or 4 characters, a certain format. But for this time around, all we need is at least a certain character so that we proceed. For now, we're not have any strict rules on the regex. So see here, that will be done. We'll actually move on to that is the ask name. So you see here that with the start stage here is not really defined. The ask name is the stage that we've just done. Hello, what's your full name, please? That's the ask name step of the stage. So I think we need to really just a minor tweak on this before we begin. But before we proceed, we're going to put a prop here as it is as we have said before. Prop number 1 there. That is when you ask user for a name, put it under the variable username in the user props. So we explain what props are or how they work. So the first stage that is done and dusted. That's how it is done by C. Okay, so moving forward, we might need to change, like I said, we might need to change a little bit. We just don't want if someone say hi and then the bot just goes straight to say, what's your full name? So we just want to improve on our approach there. So what you're going to do, we're going to put a banner so that when user says hi, we're going to say, hello, welcome. This, just a nice that message before we simply go straight to asking the user to, can just say, hi, welcome to this, welcome to our booking services, click start so that at least there's some user consent trying to do the booking. This was, the process flow. I just thought of doing it now because it will to make us so that we'll follow it easier. So it'll be easy to follow. So I'm going to put a button message so that our start page is where it asks for the user consent to say, okay, press the button to begin booking. So I'm just going to write a generic message to the user to say hello, a friendly message, hello. At this point, this is where you might also take the user's default WhatsApp name so that at least they feel like you know them. You can say hello, then you put the user's default WhatsApp name. But for this demo one, I'm just going to leave it like that. I'm just going to give a generic message, hello, let's get you started your bookings. Click the button to begin. So this is a way like the user consent to begin the booking. At this point, it might be something to do with accepting terms, show privacy policy, and the like. But it's just a good thing. So when user presses begin booking, that's when we then go to the next stage that we've defined, the ask name stage. So that's it. So for that, let's just create a new YAML file that is for booking. So just name it booking.yaml, and you put all the booking stages inside here, or the booking steps inside here. So I'm just going to do just going to rewrite everything here so that it matches our everything that we copy pasted. It matches our new changes. It reflects our new changes. Okay. So there we are good to go. So for the start stage, this is it. That's it. You're done. We'll go from the greeting a user. When they click a button, they come here. So when they click a button from here, they start. When they click begin booking, which is the button that will show at the end how it is being rendered on WhatsApp. They come here on ask name, then ask username. So that stage now we can say it's completely done. That stage is done. You've named it exactly as it is on the. We'll refer to this as our requirements that have been given by a user, a client, or one that you've just created for your next chatbot. So now this stage is done. Now we are going to the next stage. We ask birth year. We are asking the user for their birth year. So this is the message that you want to render to the user. So let's see how we are going to also handle that in Python. So like we did for the ask name, you see that we just have the same approach. What to do, and the bit name, the stage name or the step name, and then we have a prop called bet here because we want to store that the value that the user enters. So here you see that the message says thank you, and then it prints the name that the user enters on their previous step. So for now, I'm just going to put a placeholder here. We'll get back to it. Try to explain how we're going to do it. So this is thank you, the name, the username. Please enter your bet here as it is on our requirements flow. And then for the routes here, we can make it a little bit, better by instead of accepting everything, how about we put a regex? Because at this point we know what we need. We only need 4 digits, so we can actually put a regex here. You do not need to put a hook to do the validation. You can actually, if they are easy, like there's a certain format that you want, there's a certain input that you want, a word or a year, this is a good time. You can just use the regex so that the engine, the library will go forward only if that regex matches. So if you can see from here, an example is 1992. So for regex here, we know we want 4 digits. So before we do that, I usually get lost in this regex because it's been challenging for me to find some work around regex. So for those that might be struggling with regex, there's a tool that I use online that I'm going to show you. Just a quick tool. Of course, these days you can use AI. You can just put it in AI, then you ask it for the format that you want. This can be good for national IDs, for phone numbers, for certain inputs, for certain values that you want. You can just put a valid Python regex, and then the engine will know. So we'll demonstrate later when you are running this chatbot that what if you enter an invalid input? How does the library handles it? So here I'm just going to I use this site called Regex 101. The good thing about it is that it gives you a different flavors of different languages, and it gives an explanation of what you're trying to achieve. So here I'm just going to do a quick test string. I'm just going to say I was born in 1997 and try to see how it works. So we can look at the quick reference here at the bottom right corner. You can actually see what you are trying to achieve. So for us, for things that we need, you can see here the example says matches exactly a number of digits. So that's what we want. That's the exact format that you want. So let's just play around with it here so that we will know that at least our logic is working. So here you can see that it matches any 4 digits. That is good. But for our input, we only want the user to enter exactly 4 digits, not any other term, which means we can restrict the user so that we want the start to be a digit and the end to be a digit, and they have to be four. So let's just do a quick run here, a quick example, put a text string like this. Maybe I misplaced here. We start with the caret, and then we end with the dollar sign. The caret, as you can see from the
Okay, so as you can see here from the regex, we try to match exactly what we want. So we can take that and we put it into our on our template. So we put exactly that. So we match 4 digits. So now we know that we expect a birth year, which are 4 digits. So from there, we can take a look at our requirements. After that, the birth year is done. Save that into our prop. So we go to the next stage. So this stage of ask birth year step is done. Move on to the next one. But before that, remember we had the requirement says we need to mention the username. So we go back to our variable that we have placed here. So for us to do that, we use the template supports shortcuts. So we can say p.username, which means we are getting a p, which is a prop. So we're getting a prop variable directly into our template. That's a good thing about the library. There are these shortcuts that you can use. So let me just do a quick overview of how this shortcuts work. So assume we are going to have a WhatsApp ID. This is the user phone number. So this is the domain of a individual user. So let's say this is their session, this is their domain. So any data, the user data is saved here. For example, stage, this is the domain of the user. And then within that domain, they have a subdomain, which is the props. So all user input data, arbitrary data, usually on the templates, they are saved in the props. These are what we are calling props. So you can save props. So the name that we have gotten is the prop. So it is saved within this sub user domain. So here we have data like the name that we have gotten from the user. We have also another data like here, which we have set from user. So any user input that you get from the template, they're saved within the props. You can access this. Then in the domain of the user, you can access global user information like stage, domain specific, user specific like stage. Even if you save a user age, it will be in the domain of the user. But if you save it in props, it will be within this uh, sub internal subdomain of user called props. So our domain can it will be WhatsApp session will be based by phone number. So for me it's 26377. That will be my phone number or my test number. So from there, you can see that's how we're getting the p.username. That's where it's coming from. So you get the idea. So we can just do a quick rundown that, okay, if we're talking about props, we are using the p shortcut, p dot variable name. So if you're starting with the stage, so the stage is the global user domain. So for the props is the P, that's what you use for shortcut in your template. And then for the stage, that is the outer domain of the user, we use the S dot variable name, which means is the session, the domain user session. For the props is the props, we use the p. So it's s dot the variable name that you have stored it under, and then for the props is p dot the variable name that you have used when you're saving your props. So we can see that's how we are getting the previous input that the user entered, which is their name, which we by now it's saved in there in the username. So we can actually put an example format, or just say try to give user an example to say, okay, fine, the date here, the birth year that I'm expecting is this number. So you can say 2025, so that at least that will help in the validation that have added. And the good thing about templates is that you can also use the WhatsApp formatting, like the strike through, the italics, the bold, the code, anything that you want. You can use it since it's just text. So we are just putting some nice good plating here. So after that, we are done. We can look at the next stage. So this stage of asking birth year is done. The next step is ask national ID. That's the one that we now want to focus on. So we can see that we have been given the text there that say now please provide your national ID number. So we can come by now. You can actually tell how this is going to look like, because that's the conversational flow that we talked about. That's the template driven of of the library. So our next stage is ask national ID from our requirements. It also a text, and that's it. That's it. So we also provided a format for the user, and I'm not going to do the regex here. I think something that you can also try if you want to. So I'm just going to go to the next stage. So the ask booking time. That's what we're going to do. We are going to ask user for the time slot that they are selecting. So this is a numbered option. So user will select by the number of the time slot that they want. So it's also a text. So this is the message that we have from our requirements. What time? Then there's a number of time slots or time options. So I'm just going to quickly paste through this one, and then I'll just show you how it will look like, how I've done it. So let's just quickly finish this one. We also have the confirmation stage, which is the last stage where we give the user all the information. So by now you can tell where this data is coming from. Probes, exactly, because we've been saving this since the beginning of our interaction with the user. So it's a text at the moment. So this is the final stage. So the ask booking term, you can see it's a common text template we've been dealing with. And also for the confirmation, it's also a text. So I've added a regex here, a to do. I've added to do to add the regex for those who want to try it out. You can try it out and put your own format that you want. So basically, this is all our conversation flow. That's our chatbot. That's how it works. We've met the needed requirements from the flow that we have been given. So before we begin, let's just go quickly go through for those that are just catching up. Just go through how this is connected with a config file where we create the WhatsApp config class where we also put all the information, the details that we are taking from the environment variables, from our environment variables, the engine object. We also have the YAML storage manager. And remember, like I said, you can also implement your own. These are abstract implement interfaces. You can also implement your own. So from here, what we now need is the WhatsApp access. So to do that, we need access token. But before that, we need to get the phone number ID. I'm using a test number here. I'm going to use the phone number ID. I'm going to copy that and we're going to paste that in our environment variable. And now we need our temporary access token. So I'm just going to authenticate myself here and get a temporary access token, which I will copy. So I'll just copy this one and then reconnect. And then I generated and I just copy that one and we paste it on our in our environment variable so that we'll be able to access it. And then after that, we would like to let's just try to run our chatbot. We are using fast API, by the way. So let's just go into the directory and then we run the dev main.py, the main.py file. So you can see main.py is nothing more than the same way fast API application, few lines of code. We connected our router, and then that's it. This is our routes. We only have two routes that are important. The one that handles the webhook and the one that does the verification challenge, so that WhatsApp knows that this is the webhook that you are sending. This is the webhook URL that you are sending webhook payload to. So that's it. We start our application on localhost on our machine. So just waiting for the application to start to see if there anything that might be causing a crash. So here we are. Everything is working fine. So we are running on port 8000 to the default port. So for us to connect for our webhook, we need to tunnel. So since we are running on local, I use ngrok. That's what I use. It's for me. If you have anything else you can do. So I'm tunneling my local host running on 8000 so that I get this URL that I will use on WhatsApp developer portal for us to get start to receive webhook messages. So I'll copy this generated URL, and then before that I'll just send a message. Since I'm in test, I need to first initiate a conversation so that it kickstarts a 24-hour session. Now it is there. Now all I need to do is to verify to perform the webhook challenge. So let's just see if I can copy again the URL and then you go here, go on WhatsApp configuration, or you can do products webhooks, still the same thing. So I go here, I replace the old one, should have been expired by now. I replace the old one, And then the verified token that I have, I need to make sure that this is the same as the one that I have in my environment variable file. Just going to copy that demo one for production. You use something that is not easily, that not common like UUID. So just going to put this demo verified token and minimize here and verify. This is the crucial step. It's very crucial. If it's not verified properly, you won't get any webbook. And make sure you've subscribed the webbook fields. You subscribe to messaging. So that is done. We are done with WhatsApp. Now we are back to our chatbot. If you've seen that on your N0 console, know that everything went well. We are good to go. So now it's time to test our chatbot flow to see what's how everything is connected. And remember, at this point in time, we've not yet written any Python code for now, not yet written any business logic. So I'm just going to put everything here so that we'll see, we'll map the responses on the actual WhatsApp platform in those that we have in our template. So we say hi, and that is the response exactly as we have in our template. So that is the first stage that we get, that is been triggered. Say begin booking so that we start. Exactly. So it's working as we wanted. We are going to the next step, which is ask name. And the ask name is saying, hello, what's your name, please? So at this stage, we're expecting if we put in any input, it should be saved in username props. So yeah, I'm just going to put my name there. And I'm just going to say, click enter and see the response. I say, thank you. Please enter your birth here. So now we know that the period username works, the shortcut works. So now for testing, we've been given an example, but I'm just going to assume that I'm a user and I'm going to enter, for example, a month first in the year. We just want to see if our validation is really working here. So let's just say August 23 just for a test. We want to see how the chatbot reacts, how the library will react. So here, if you put something that is not valid, given the validation, it will give you a generic response like invalid response. Please try again. So if you continuously put invalid information, it will continuously return you this message. So for now, for the sake of testing, I'm just going to put something valid, and then yes, it's working. We'll go to the next stage. As for national ID number, I'm just going to put any message. Any message here would work, but I'm just going to follow the format here. So here it's fine. Now being asked about the time slots. So those are the numbered options. Being given instruction to reply with numbered option to select. Just going to select two, and then that's the final confirmation message that I'm getting, and every information that have been saved in props, I'll be able to access it via the props shortcut syntax that we supported by the library. So here we are done. So if I enter anything here, it will go back to start. So we want to improve this a little bit. We want to have to give user a button so that they can either click confirm or book again, to retry again, to retry the whole thing. So let's just change this quickly to a button template. I'm just going to uh, change the body a little bit, but still keeping everything as it is, just a little bit. I'm just going to add a title here. You just say book summary, and then I'm going to add a body. Just going to update it, to change it, alter it just a little bit so that it just looks nice when you are using a button message on WhatsApp. So I'm just going to leave it like this. I think this is going to be okay. I think this is enough. And then for the buttons, we will need the for the button template, we will need the buttons. The maximum buttons of a button template is three, and at least one. So I'm just going to put two. One of them is going to be confirm. Another one, let's call it book again. Book again makes sense. For now, for this quick run, book again. So would like to match the input of the user for the choices that we've given them. If they say confirm, then we'll give them the final message to say, thank you for making an order with us, or anything that you want, but just going to make it simple. Just going to give them a text template. Also for the stage that we've added here, called order complete. So I'm just going to put in text message that said thank you for booking with us. something like that. So this stage, if user reaches this stage, you can do some cleanup, you can save to the server, you can do anything that you want here by means of a hook. But for now, we're just going to do the basic thing. So I'm just going to put a generic message. Thank you for booking with that. Thank you for booking with us. Then we just say type start to get to make so that the user, any response that they give, they're going to be rendered the initial first stage that we showed them. So at this point, we are done. So if we look back, we need to also map the book again stage. So the good thing about this template-driven approach is that you can jump to any stage that you want. You can route user to any stage. So if user clicks book again, we want to start at the ask name. So at this point, with this point, we are like, okay, I'm retrying. The users like, I'm retrying. Maybe there's something that they want to change. We could have asked them which field they want to change, but that will be a lot of work for now. So I'm just going to start afresh. So go to ask name. So this is the whole process. This is the whole flow. We have made the requirements as they were being given from the flow that we had. So this is everything. So we can restart the chatbot. So if you open your terminal, you see a bunch of logs that are there. This is just there for the test. During development, you can actually see how all everything is being handled, or the logs that are coming in case there's an exception, or you just want to understand how what is being logged by the library. So I'm just going to start again. Let me just start again. Let me minimize this a little bit so that we're able to access that one. Yes. Okay. So let's start again. Let's start afresh. We specifically want to check this new confirmation message that you have just added. So we do hi. We go through the same process that you have gone through. The other things that the library also supports, like there's something called debounce. Since you know that WhatsApp is an instant messaging platform, messages comes in fast. The responses are even fast. So try to avoid some unwanted, some very bad experience when you're working on chatbots. Like the chatbot will respond to one message of a user, the chatbot will respond 3 times. That's what we call debounce. So debounce is set to the one that is there, the default, but you can play around with it. So you will see as we are going, you might respond fast and there's no response. If you check your legs, you see a message ignored due to debounce. But that's something that can be changed. So we'll take a look at it when we are testing. So okay, I'm just filling in everything that you have filled. Our target is to see the confirmation message, how it has changed from the previous one that we had. We want to see the pattern tablet that we did. So I'm just going to select option number 4. Yeah, something like this. This is the book summary that we have. This is the new button template that you are using. This gives user an option so that you don't need to deal with too much human error. Someone can enter a one or a two, another name, they can send an image. But in this case, you are directing user to say use the given option. So I'm just going to say book again just to show you that we can easily jump back to the initial stage which we started from. So here I'm just going to enter the values again quickly so that we will just end this whole session. By now you have seen how everything is connected. This is just how you can actually quickly bootstrap a WhatsApp chatbot. You can actually show your client how all this process works, and then you start working on your business logic. But the conversation flow of how it works from the beginning, from the user start interacting with you up to the last point, you can actually model them using your templates. So that's the good thing. So here, as you can see here on this stage, we have entered option number 3. If you will take a look at the logs, you can see a warning says message ignored due to debounce. This is what I once mentioned. That the response, the debounce time set has been triggered. So if we come again a response, it will also proceed. At this point, certain time has elapsed and the chatbot can allow to proceed. So we are here. I can just going to say complete to mention that we are okay. So we see our final message. So if we respond with the menu, then the initial stage that we have set will be the one to show. So basically, that's how pywce library works. we have managed to complete as per the requirement, as per the process flow that we have. We changed a little bit, but we are on the right track. So we managed to fulfill the required. So I hope you enjoy. Tell me what you think about this.